Hello, everyone. Now I jumped in again spontaneously to share on a very relevant topic. So, yeah, I'm really inspired to share about this. So, as many of us may be aware, that we are closing or releasing, letting go the age of Pisces, which was all about dance of duality and various distinctions, discernment, choice. And now we are integrating, embodying the age of Aquarius, which is more about blending everything together in unified, heart-based harmony, therefore embodying true spirit of humanity. And as the sign of Aquarius is also represented as human, not as an animal or a thing. So I would like to share on that through the prism of genders and relationships between them. So it is very interesting that in my native Lithuanian language, fire and sun is pronounced feminine, in feminine gender, and water and moon is pronounced in masculine gender. And we can also see that in the Tarot Minor Arcana, where each element, masculine or feminine, has the representative from each gender, like a king and a queen has for each element. Yeah, like water and earth is usually described more as the feminine elements, fire and air more as the masculine elements. So I feel that all of this contains a hidden and very important message and wisdom that, first of all, reminds us that all opposites are expressions of the one. So essentially, there is one which expresses itself through divergence and convergence. And in that process of expression and creation, those polarities intertwine and cross each other many times, blends with each other, and embodies each other's qualities. So in that process of creation, in that formation of tree of life, yes, masculine and feminine, and also in ascension, yes, also masculine and feminine sometimes, yes, changes their roles. Sometimes masculine needs to be more receptive and the feminine more giving, and so on. So yes, each soul reflects that trinity, that oneness and polarity is in each soul and in each body, even though our bodies are also in a more concrete way expresses a certain gender. And here I don't want to confuse anyone. I think that what specifically, naturally is there, let it be there. But this whole game of meaning and identification with gender, I see as a very, very limiting, and most of the time it leads us away from a natural way, from naturality. And especially when in discussions, there is a lot of discussions I see where people talking about people as men's and women's, and in a very plural, general sense, as if all men's and women's are just manufactured dolls from the same line, or as the most primitive animals, which is almost indistinguishable between each other. And then the whole series of teachings arise on what man or woman is or and should be. So yeah, I see that it greatly, this focus greatly limits our awareness on who we truly are beyond this physical gender. Of course, it is good to note those things, yeah, those different qualities and virtues, and so on. Yeah, it is good to know those things and apply those things when needed, but to not limit, to not identify with those things and just base your life as if I am a man and I should be a good man, and therefore I need to do A, B, and C to succeed. So yeah, those things I see that is truly destroying naturality of the beauty of true authentic relationships. And when this discussion goes into the spiritual arena, yes, we can then very quickly can get confused, because as I said, those qualities are always changing and expressing in a myriad of different ways. So I will give some examples. So for example, yeah, it is said that the great cosmic mother is like that black space, and divine masculine is like stars, bright stars in that space. But then we see the another representative of divine masculine as Shiva, and he often is represented as dark and passive, like formless consciousness. And then divine feminine as Shakti is represented as more bright and active. She raises and goes to the Shiva. And yeah, you can see how it changes. And another perfect example is our Earth, our Gaia. So she has perfect balance of all the elements: air, water, earth, fire. Yeah, she has all of them, both masculine and feminine, yet she is still more associated to a feminine, but yes, as the balanced feminine. And you can see how she has this ability to absorb everything, to recycle everything, and also how can she push new life into the surface, onto the surface. So from the core, from her core. which is fiery, and where here it relates to that Shakti energy. So Shakti is, yes, is that masculine expression of the feminine. So yeah, it is like yin yang symbol. Each lives in each other. They are never truly separated. Again, there is that invisible, indivisible oneness that always unites and intertwines those qualities, abilities, and so on. So, this age of Aquarius and love itself invites us to let go all of those divided perspectives, those rigid truths that we hold on to. And because of that, all the conflicting relationships exists. It is like we are trying to stretch this rigid word as man or woman and attribute it to something that is infinitely subtle and ultimately belongs to the eternal mystery of life. So instead of categorizing everything, trying to put everything onto black and white, and therefore then somehow micromanaging with the illusionary hope to out of that create harmonious, happy relationships, so that will never truly work. So instead of that, let's focus more onto love itself, that naturally, effortlessly puts everything together in the magical harmony of authentic relationships, living, breathing relationships, where yes, everything can change in each moment, but love organizes that, not our mind, not our ideologies about genders. Yeah, we forgot love. That is, again, it is similar to that oneness between all the opposites. So yeah, the love is this magical glue that makes everything right. Yeah, so let go all the descriptions just for them to be used and utilized through the natural unconditional love, where men and women lives in each other and expresses through each other in a myriad of wonderful combinations. Yes, there is infinite expressions. There is only one and infinite relative expressions on how it can relate to each other. So by realizing that and living by that, yes, then we can truly experience natural relationships allowing relationships to be as they naturally are, for each individual very unique. Because again, human has that quality of individuated consciousness, very, very specific, very specific souls, very specific themes of exploration, and so on. So yeah, in this age of Aquarius, it is very, very relevant to accept everything through unconditional love. And that is essential. I feel it is also essential for the positive, open contact with other benevolent civilizations from outer space and other dimensions, because yes, creation is very, very diverse, yet love, that unconditional love, perfectly combines and organizes that diversity. So that is the main focus. Let it sink in into your heart. And feel the lightness in your heart, the unity. Yes, for some people, it will still be enough to just live by learned or some kind of traditional rules. But for those who are sincerely curious, so they will find that dancing, ever dancing and balancing paradox and perfect unity of love at the center of it. And that is the leading edge. That is the portal to the golden age. That is the golden path. And also that center, yeah, again, for example, between feminine and masculine, we can also see as the child. So let's not forget that we also have that child of infinite creation inside of us. And yes, it is more essential. It is more us than our grown up personality. Before becoming a gender, a man or a woman, we are a child, a pure, curious, playful, creative child of this universal divine love, which always supports this innocence, our innate innocence. Mm-hmm. Therefore, we are free to express ourselves in a childlike way or in a more like a sage with a lot of experience and wisdom way, or more masculine, more feminine. Yes, you can play with those polarities however you wish, however you see it that supports you and your loved ones. Yes, and then life really gets very, very fun, very interesting, very playful, very alive. So, again, let it sink in. Let yourself to embody this new age of Aquarius and enjoy. Thank you very much for tuning in and see ya in the moment. Bye. And as always, I forgot where is that button to close. Hmm.